I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your humble host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. This is the Political Spotlight. It is episode 240, the big 240. I cannot believe we're 10 episodes away from 250. That's absolutely crazy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. We have a lot to talk to you tonight about, and it's been a busy day. Let me tell you, man. We've had a lot of crazy stuff going on in the city of Muncie. We've had some things going on in Indiana. I've had some personal things going on, show related that's going to be good, hopefully in the coming future. And then, of course, President Biden wraps up the NATO conference and has a presser where he may or may not have been wearing an earpiece. We will hopefully talk about that later. If not later, we might do a special episode this weekend and talk about it. I will let you know. We'll keep you posted. But we have been doing a lot, and it's all for you. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to do us a favor. Hello there, Counselor Ingram. Do us a favor and like and share the show with everyone you know. Subscribe and click the bell. Subscribe, click the bell, do all of that stuff. It will help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're one of our fine friends here watching on X, formerly known as Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on TikTok, or however else that's possible, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I would maybe suggest switching over to YouTube at some point. And the only reason I say that is because you will be able to comment with more people. Maybe that's not a big deal for you. If it is, it's something that you could consider. Kate has put the link at the bottom. And that's the link to our actual channel. Each and every night that we go live, we have a specific link to the episodes. And I share those links on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. So just keep that in mind. We are a very interactive show, and we'd like to hear what you've got to say. If you're watching live, please comment over there in the live box. If you're watching in the future, well, the future to me, the present to you, whatever time you're watching, if it is not Thursday, July 11th, 2024, then you'll have to comment down below, and we hope that you do that. Okay, Folks, it's been a day, let me tell you. I don't know. The City of Muncie, of course, pulled their crazy stunt yesterday when they notified us as of 9:05 a.m. that they were going to cut off comments. Really bizarre. Just so bizarre that they would even remotely do that. It's so weird. But they did it all the same. And I have said, and I still hold that I think something is going on, and they've done it for a reason. They're doing it in preparation. Now, we've got some news today. And everybody wants to know, is this the reason? Is this the reason? It could be a little bit of the reason. I have to tell you, it could be a little bit of the reason, but I don't think it's the biggest part. I will tell you that, and we're going to talk all about the Dustin Clark deal. We're going to talk about the breaking news from today. I still think that something is happening. And we're just going to have to wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see what's happening. Now, I was watching the Biden press conference, and it didn't allow me to do something that I was going to do before we went live. So if you will pardon me, I'm going to take 1 second to make a highlight mark on a piece of paper that I'm going to send to Kate so she can put up so we can all be prepared. What a lack of professionalism here at the show. I am so sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me concentrate as I mark this up so we can see what it is we'll be looking at. I want to make sure that we can definitely see this. Give me 1 second here. See. Okay. To verify.
Watching you draw is exciting as watching paint dry.
I know, isn't it right? Isn't it?
Riveting podcasting, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So we do have a question while you're drawing. How is Grandma doing? Is she recovering completely, or is she still having some lingering effects?
Well, no, she's doing all right. She's back to walking. I saw someone there said hi to her. She texted me and said, "Tell those people I said hi." So she has already said that. She's doing well. She's walking. She's out of physical therapy. She's completely back to walking unassisted. No walker. She's on no medication. She's doing well. But I just will say, and if everybody could maybe keep her in her prayers, keep them in their prayers for this. A surgery of that magnitude, a bilateral, having both knees done at the same time, that's a big deal in and of itself. And then on top of that, the fact that they broke her femur, and that needed to be then a rod placed in the bone, and they needed to heal. And that took already what would have been a 6-week downtime, and it added about another 6 weeks on top of it. And truthfully being told, the both knees being done is about a year recovery period. So we're at the 7-month mark, right? Well, no, we're about the 5 months because her surgery was on the 1st of February.
Well, keep drawing.
So yeah, I'm almost done here, but I was seeing what
Alva's getting down to the nitty gritty and asking the tough questions. No softballs from him. How are the gummies?
Yeah. Doing well with that, but yeah. Basically the thing is, anytime it takes you off your game for that time, you're going to have some things. She's cut a little bit of weight, so she's trying to get a little bit of weight on. She's always been a tiny person. You can put her in your pocket. But just trying to bounce back. She's doing well. If my grandparents can figure out a way to not kill each other, then we'll be doing good. I'd say after they've been married 60 some years, it's like 15 minutes with your head underwater. And so, it is what it is, but yeah, they're doing good. They're both doing good.
My parents hit 50 years the end of this month.
Yours do? 50.
Yeah.
That's that, anymore. That is something to, that is definitely, that's definitely doing something.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, it's like, I think I'm going to try to do 50 years, but it's going to be like we're going to have to add them all up. It's like, it's going to be multiple.
Do it in dog years.
Yeah, right. We're going to have to add, take everything together. Yeah. So, there we go. If you could please post in the overlays those 3 pictures I sent, that would be fantastic. I just sent them to you. But yeah, grandparents are doing well. Alva says me and my wife are 39 years in September. I don't know how I put up with her that long. And it's a thing. Yeah, right. What I found about my grandparents, and I think they're both listening, so this is funny, is they both have the same gripe about each other. They both have the absolute gripe about each other, and it's the exact same gripe. And like one day my grandma will say, he's doing this, this, and this. And then the very next day, my grandpa says the same thing about her, and they're doing it. And it's like, I just can't get them on the same page. One of them will be happy and in a good mood, and the other will be like grouchy or sick and whatever. If I could get them to where they were both sick at the same time or down, then they would be okay. But it's like this stop, go. But no, they're doing great. I love them. They're both very active, very involved. Get out, go, fix the yard. I think my grandpa was up mowing a hill today, doing just like crazy things. So they are definitely making the most of those, I guess, so-called golden years. I think my grandma said, I don't know how golden they actually are, but they are years, but I don't know how golden they are. But no, they're doing well, and I appreciate everybody's input and thoughts. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and that would be fantastic. Yeah, Chris Bunner, I see your comment there. Tweety Bird have 47. Stumblefoot's been married to Kid Rock. Oh, Grandma said he can't hear at all. So I have to talk louder. Sorry, everybody. So yeah, that's the number one thing. That's the number one thing. He says something, he says something, and she'll say something. He says what? This is what's funny. She'll say something. She talks like a field mouse anyways, real quiet. She'll say something. He says what? It makes her mad that she has to repeat herself. So then she yells it. But she says, well, I have to yell it to you because I have to make you hear it. Not that I'm mad that I'm saying it again, but the tone still sounds the same. So it's like it doesn't really, so then that makes him mad. And so that it's just what happens. And so then, but then at the same time, she says that he mumbles. And so, it goes and it, it's amazing. So, but yeah, they're both doing good. Okay, well, we stalled enough. That's excellent teamwork there. I got those pictures in. First and foremost, and I wish we would have had this picture yesterday. And I've got to give the credit to Brandon for this. Brando came up with this, I guess, while in his sleep or something. He woke up this morning and told me this great idea, and it's absolutely fantastic. But and this leads into today's story. The city of Muncie, with its conservative Republican mayor, just in time for the month of July, which is, America's birth month. We just celebrated the 4th of July, our Independence Day, freedoms in America and our wonderful nation. Well, it's amazing living in the state of Indiana. In the state of Indiana, where we have a super duper Republican majority and so many, counties, 92 counties with, just tons and tons and tons of commissioners that are all Republicans, and county councils that are all Republicans, and city councils that are, have a lot of Republicans, and mayors that are Republican. And we get our illustrious mayor, Dan Ridenour, the conservative, and matter of fact, he's also frequently called himself libertarian of mind. And I just don't get that at all. He not only is he not a conservative, but he sure as hell is not a libertarian. He and his administration have created Muncie's first free speech zone. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the free speech zone, the City of Muncie communications page. If you go there, you will be able to have all the free speech you want. Well, unless they don't like what you say there too, and then they can take that away too. But I want to give thanks to our amazing leadership. If you want to engage in your freedom of speech by offering praise to the city of Muncie, or if you have questions or concerns, or you want to redress your city government, all you have to do is enter the free speech zone graciously allowed to us by the powers that be, His Majesty Dan Ridenour, Her Majesty Shireen Wegley, and the keeper of the zone, Michelle Owen. Now say whatever you want. It'll be allowed in the free speech zone. Again, unless they don't like it, because, well, then they'll just delete that too. Now, repeat after me. Ridenour is good. Ridenour is great. Wegley is good. Wegley is great. Gotta love Muncie, or else. Blessed be our rulers of Muncie. So, and I think the reason that they have done this, again, I think they are preparing for something, but it does not hurt that today the city of Muncie released a press release that says, for immediate release, July 11th, 2024, On April 18th, the City of Muncie asked for a state board of accounts investigation to verify that all money was accounted for after concerns were raised regarding some procedural errors with a city employee that we all know is Dustin the Green Goblin Clark. Okay. Following standard procedure, the employee was placed on administrative leave and suffered in agony during a 3-month paid holiday. The city is pleased to report that the State Board of Accounts has confirmed that all money is accounted for. The city is confident that there was no fraud or misuse of funds, and the city will be reinstating said employee, I would assume, immediately. So Dustin, the Green Goblin Clark, will be returning to work. So I'll just take a moment for you to all talk amongst yourselves and for the sigh and the shock. Any thoughts? Any comments? Anybody have anything to say? Anybody want to say anything? Here's the thing. I don't think this thing means anything. All right? I do not believe this means anything. First and foremost, we all need to relax. All right? Because the Green Goblin is heading back to work, but that's not even the big news. The big news, ladies and gentlemen, is that Dustin Clark can return to the executive IRONMAN team. Hell yeah. He'll be back in his role as the lead swimmer for runner Dan Ridenauer and biker Matt Wegley. Just like that. Just in time. I mean, it's almost like it was meant to be, right? Wait, what? Dustin is coming back? Oh, yeah. We got a lot to talk about, people. I really think that this is like a form of gaslighting, in my opinion. You know, I don't know if this is the other shoe that was dropping or not. I don't think that they would have shut down the comments just for this, unless there's more to the story, and we're going to get into that. Here's hoping that Dustin has been training during his 3 months of paid holiday time and not just gorging himself on Twinkies and RC Cola on the couch. Time will tell. I've not seen him in his time off, so I don't know. Maybe he's as big as I am, or I don't know. Maybe he's been on my grandma's weight loss plan. I don't know. Listen, here's the thing. I don't think that this means much. Okay. Number one, I don't think that this is even anywhere close to being over yet. And number two, I think that this city's press release is just more of the good old boys helping out their friends. And I want to explain to you why. It's not gaslighting. It's green lighting. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Green lighting. Yeah, bring back Craig Nichols. So here's the deal. Well, Alva says, now I question the validity of this Indiana State Board of Accounts. I get why you would say that, but hold on here. No, I don't. I think they do a good job, but we have to understand what they're looking at versus what we believe, what we think should be happening versus what the state police could be or might be looking at. Now, ever since I got this, Yvonne Thompson, I would rather see this announcement on the State Board of Accounts letterhead. Ding, 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 she gets the cookie. Okay, let me tell you, you're exactly correct. You're exactly right, Miss Yvonne, and let me tell you why. I am not taking Reidenauer and Michelle Owen at their word. I have a call into the State Board of Accounts, and I will have all of the documentation, because these are the very same people who, remember, these are the same people that played the old switcheroo with the State Board of Accounts back in August of 2023, and they brought in Aaron Clark to their meeting instead of the council president, Jeff Robinson, so that Aaron Clark would hear that they were doing wrong with none other than the Green Goblin, Dustin Clark, so that Jeff Robinson wouldn't have that information to help him campaign against Dan Reidenauer. So they have already played games with these people, and they said, "Oh no, we had a great meeting with the State Board of Accounts. Nothing's wrong here." But that's not what the State Board of Accounting's finding actually said. When we got the actual accounting, it said, "Oh no, there are several problems here." One of those problems being the fact that the city of Muncie was paying Dustin Clark to work as a full-time employee. And while he's a full-time employee, he was also double dipping, and they were paying him to be contract man. And then the State Board of Accounts said, "Hey, you can't do that anymore." So what did they do? Did they take Dustin out of that contract position? No. He just created a company, pulled it right out of his ass, put a weirdo in charge of it, and said, "All right, we got a company now. Hey, oh, look at this." And went right along. Matter of fact, we've seen he even signed the back of the checks. But that's all stuff that I don't think that the State Board of Accounts was even looking at. Okay. So first and foremost, never fear. We will look at the State Board of Accounts information. I'm pretty sure he was moonlighting at Lowe's during the workday. That's even more insane. And if that's the case, then this is even. Are you being serious? Is that a joke? Is that something I'm not getting? Or is that serious? Because if that's the case, then that's even more like, are we talking about ghost employment? Was he working for the city of Muncie, getting paid for the city of Muncie, getting paid as a contract employee, and doing whatever the hell that you're suggesting he was doing at Lowe's? Or was that some kind of a joke and I'm not getting it? The big thing is he can compete in Iron Man. Shoo! I've heard that there have been people that are in his friend group that have been all torn up about this because they wouldn't want to be around him during this. Now they can go back to being around him and everybody can be okay and everything can be fine. They can go back to drinking bourbon on boats and things like that. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, sounds like ghost employment to me. Well, let me tell you, like Counselor Ingram said, and Brad said, I've seen a few State Board of Accounts reports, and they aren't very cut and dry. It's not as easy as he did or didn't. I'd like to see the report. We will see the report. I've already reached out to them. That is in the works. But I want to tell you, I want to go back, and I want to look at this. I'm going to break this statement down, because if I've ever seen a statement put out specifically by a legal-minded, this is not a statement from the Michelle Owen. No. This is a statement made by the legal department. All right? And I want to go through a couple things. Okay. Look, Michelle probably typed for immediate release July 11th, 2024. I'm sure she typed out what they told her to type. Okay, so it says on April 18th, 2024, the City of Muncie asked for a State Board of Accounts investigation to verify that all money was accounted for. All money from where? All money dealing or concerning with what? But furthermore, this was never a question of theft. If you have theft, you don't contact the State Board of Accounts. That would just be straight into law enforcement. This wasn't a question that money was missing. We know where the money's at. It was paid to Dustin Clark as a full-time employee, and it was also paid to Dustin Clark as a contract employee up until 2023. And then in August of 2023, the State Board of Accounts slapped their PPs and said, you boys can't be doing that. And then Dustin created the Greenlight Resources Company and put in Morgan Warden and got a couple of other people connected to it that had nothing to do with it other than just being, tangentially related to the city. And then they went right back to work, paying Dustin Clark and paying Greenlight Resources. The reason I think it's a problem is because when they paid Greenlight Resources and the check went to wherever it went to, just down from Stumblefoot's house, Clark went and picked it up and signed the back of the check. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why I think there's a problem. Nobody is saying that there's money that's missing. So the city asking the State Board of Accounts, hey, can you verify that the money's all here? Yeah, the money's all here. I could have walked in and told them that. So first of all, I don't know that the State Board of Accounts was even there investigating. I think that was just something to make Dan feel good. Yeah, the money's here, boss. All right. After concerns were raised regarding some procedural errors. All right. That's interesting. Procedural errors. That is a State Board of Accounts phrase. Procedural errors. So there were procedural errors. The State Board of Accounts called them on it. And they, instead of fixing it, found an in run around it, which is what Ridenauer and his team does. Okay. The next part. The city is pleased to report. I bet the city's pleased to report that the State Board of Accounts has confirmed that all money is accounted for. Well, no kidding. That was that again was never a question. This is such a crafty little press release. You're such a crafty little press release. It weaves around the words that are there and the words that are said just as smoothly as it weaves around what's not there and what is not said. Okay? The city is confident that there was no fraud or misuse of funds. Okay? Now, that's important because it doesn't say that the State Board of Accounts is confident. It says the city is confident. It doesn't say that the state police is confident. It says the city is confident. So you have to look at what's being said and what's not being said. That's why until we see the State Board of Accounts report on this in our hands, these are just a series of letters formed into words, formed into sentences, formed into 2 paragraphs on a page that Michelle Owen wrote for her lover. Keep in mind, when we say that this is all so incestuous, we really mean that. I just want to, again, say there was no question that money was there or not there. So them saying that, I think is a load of crap. And as Chief Muncie has pointed out, the very bare minimum fact that there was no conflict of interest on file is a Class D felony. Stops Dustin from having a gun permit. Stops Dustin from being a teacher. Stops Dustin from working for the city, I would think. What they forgot to mention was the State Board of Accounts said that the investigation is ongoing by the Indiana State Police. Well, listen, I at this point don't know if the State Board of Accounts has said that or not, but I can tell you there is at least one person involved with this, and I can confirm this. There is one person involved with this that has said the state police is still investigating this. And the reason that the state police is taking so long to go through this is they are not just looking at this event. They have went back through and they are going through every year of his employment. The state police, and I got this from a source, and this was from a source since all of this came down, that the state police is / was one of those two, I'm not sure which, investigating each year that Dustin worked for the city of Muncie. So please understand, this would be like being a pharmacist and having a pharmacist that was involved with diversion of pills. Diversion of, let's say each night the pharmacy tech girl was going about her job picking up trash, and on the last aisle of the pharmacy, she would be carrying the trash bag by, and she would grab a bottle of codeine off the shelf and hide it against her stomach as she would go into the bathroom. Then she pours that codeine into a bottle that is she already hid in the trash, puts the lid on it, throws it in the trash, then fills the codeine up with sink water, puts the codeine back on the shelf, takes the trash out and throws it away. Well, maybe the state pharmacy board, maybe the pharmacy fires her, and the state pharmacy board comes out and says, they fired her. She's not in a pharmacy. We're not going to make a ruling. That doesn't mean, ladies and gentlemen, that the police wouldn't do something about that. Because number one, it would be theft, and it would be theft of narcotics, and then she could be in possession of narcotics, or is she dealing narcotics? So just because you have really a body that has no actual teeth involved with something does not mean that the state police isn't going to say, hey, there's an issue here. So we got to keep that in mind. We've not heard from the state police, and look, this is what's bad. Maybe we don't ever hear from them. That's the thing. Again, keep in mind, it was such a problem with Craig Nichols. And look, I don't see any difference between what was going on here and what was going on with Craig Nichols. Even down to the fact that at one point they're both dealing with fake stuff that never existed. At one point, Craig Nichols is getting paid for tearing down a house that never existed. At the same time, Dustin Clark is getting paid for shirts that never existed. Wild. Really crazy. So, time will be there. And listen, for the people who are saying, well, is this fraud? Could be fraud, or they're saying it's not fraud. They're saying it's not fraud. First of all, this statement does not say that the State Board of Accounts says there was no fraud or misuse of funds or anything else. The State Board of Accounts is not saying that. The city is the one saying that. The State Board of Accounts says, or at least we're being told that they say, they confirmed all money was accounted for. What does that mean? Listen. If I have a safe that has $1 million in it, and I lock it up, and only 3 people have the combination to it, myself, my brother and Audie, and my brother's in Italy, and Audie's here in Muncie, and I go to it and I'm missing $20,000, and I make a report, and the police go to Audie's house and find $20,000, the police could make a report and say, well, the money's all here. That doesn't mean a crime wasn't committed. All this says, it's very crafty. All it says is the city is saying that the State Board of Accounts has confirmed the money is all accounted for. So, you know, that's the thing. We're in a really, really strange situation where, until we read what the State Board of Accounts says, these are just words. So don't get all crazy about it. Now, he might go back to work. It's also horrible. Also doesn't mean it also doesn't mean well, yeah, sure. No, absolutely. Well, yeah, right. And look, I mean, I'm not saying that Dustin committed a crime. I'm not saying that at all. I have no clue. All I'm telling you is the FBI said that Craig Nichols had created a crime, and I don't see much of a difference between what Craig Nichols did and what Dustin Clark did. But we're not dealing with the FBI. It's the State Board of Accounts. And really, we don't even know what the State Board of Accounts said, because it's the city saying it for him. It's the city saying it for them. Okay, now some of your comments. Why is Ridenour risking his reputation for Dustin? What exactly is their relationship? Most employers don't put up with this shit unless the boss has a particular affinity for bad employee. You know, I don't know what the relationship is there. I know that he's Dan's right-hand man. You take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. I know that, I mean, he's obviously in a relationship with Michelle Owen. You know, you've got two different people here. I don't know. Dustin Morgan. Maybe a left-hand man too. I don't know. Now, if we can just find somebody who gave Ridenour $5,000. Is there a chance that the City of Muncie, wishing to be as transparent as possible, post a copy of the State Board of Accounts findings to the communication page tomorrow? Well, there's a possibility that a meteorite could fall from the heavens, crashing through your house and hit you in the head. And honestly, I think there's more possibility that that would happen than what you said. Chief Muncie. Good question. Let's go look. Okay, audit reports. Would this be report or government fraud? Search audit reports. Let's see. City of Anderson. City of Indianapolis. I don't think we're gonna find it here. I don't think so.
I was in looking before and didn't find it.
Yeah. Special investigation report.
I tried that too. Last thing I see is 2022.
Here's Marion School 723.
Oh, I was getting into just Delaware County. And I tried just Muncie.
Oh, and there's nothing on there.
Yeah.
Delaware County. Delaware. Unit type city. No results. Supplemental. Okay, here we go. 1222. Yeah, nothing. Okay. 2299. No result. Compliance report. Review. No review. Review. No comments. Private examiner audit. PFC complaint. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think what we're going to be looking for is going to be here. I will tell you though, I have a call in and I sent an email today to a higher up within the State Board of Accounts that I actually had from when Ryan Webb made his complaint to the State Board of Accounts. And I had a copy of his email. Well, GW, I mean, listen, if they're investigating for the city of Muncie and they found out that hey, there's nothing here or whatever, they would tell the city that. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not published or it's not public record. It would definitely be public record, and I don't find any reason why we won't be able to get it. I'm sure it'll be telling, because again, keep in mind that back during the let me pull this up here. I know I've got these pictures. Give me 1 second. We've talked about these just recently. Yeah, I think here they are. Yep, here it is right here. I'm going to send something to you, Kate. Sent your way, ma'am. Yeah, it was the State Board of Accounts filed on it was from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, filed September 21st, 2023. Thank you, ma'am. And here again, I want you to look at these. Schedule of officials: Controller Craig Wright, Mayor Dan Ridenhour, President of the Board of Works Linda Gregory, President of the Common Council Jeff Robinson, President of the Sanitary District Board Stephen Brand. Okay, now here's the meetings. The contents of this report were discussed on August 30th, 2023, with Craig Wright, City Controller, the Honorable Dan Ridenhour, Mayor Aaron Clark, Common Council member. So there's where the city did the old switcheroo. Woo, switcheroony. All right, they did it in both meetings because how dare we there's no way we would give Jeff Robinson any scuttlebutt. Not like he didn't know this at the time. Damn, man. It's not that difficult. You know, I mean, playing with these people, it's like playing with a bunch of children. Here's that report. Okay. And I know that's a little difficult, so I will tell you what it says. In 2021, the mayor contracted with a full-time city employee to provide general administration management of Prairie Creek. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was none other than the Green Goblin himself, Mr. Dustin Clark. Okay? 2021, the mayor contracted with full-time city employee to provide general administration management of Prairie Creek, grant writing, aid in the park development, overseeing the mayor's initiatives, and other consulting services to the city and all departments of the city as needed and directed by the mayor of Muncie. The contract specified the individual is a contract consultant of the city who is not entitled to any city employee benefits specified a monthly payment of $2,000 per month and a specified period of time from January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2023, with any modifications to be made in writing and signed by all parties. The contract included language regarding duties already being performed as a city employee. Did not include a provision for a record of hours worked to be provided, and did not specify the work to be performed outside of the mayor's normal work hours, which are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. The employee's time card shows 8 hours per day worked for the city, but not the actual time hours, and no mention Oh, no. As a result, there was insufficient documentation to determine when the individual worked for the city as a consultant. The individual was paid $49,355 as a full-time city employee, plus $24,000 as a consultant. In 2022, the consultant payment increased to $25,000 a month with no written amendment provided, which it said it would need to be, and the individual has been paid a minimum of $1,851 per pay plus overtime as a full-time city employee. All right. So that right there, they noted in that report. And when they were finished with this report, you know what the city of Muncie said? everything's good here. No problems here. It wasn't until people got their hands on the report that we said, wait a minute. There was definitely a problem. So the shock that everybody has from this, yeah, it's shocking. But I'm keeping myself buttoned up because this is just words on a page until I see the State Board of Accounts report. You know, yeah. Yeah, a couple people did actually. I mean, look. There's nobody alive that doesn't. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know. I mean, maybe Dan Ridenhour. Everyone is aware of the fact that you can't hold a government job as a full-time employee and then get contract work over here working for the same government during the same time where you don't keep track of the hours and you don't specify and strictly make it, very clear that there are two different things happening. Even doing that, I think it's still a no-no. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's why, good night, Alva. That's why you might check around this weekend, Alva. I say we might be here at least once. That's why it is important to keep in mind that just because these people should know that maybe we need something in place. And that is why Audie Barber went to Jerry Dishman. In case you guys don't know who that is, it's a Muncie City Councilor. In case he doesn't know. Audie said, hey, I don't like what they're doing with this Dustin Clark bullshit. Maybe we should have an ordinance that says any city employee cannot do contract work. Now, Audie went up to give Jerry hell at the last council meeting. And Jerry, to my surprise, said the attorney is working on that. So he actually is having something drawn up. So they are going to put an ordinance in place, or at least attempt to put an ordinance in place that says that as a full-time employee, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. Now, what'll be interesting is It better state that no one can be grandfathered in. That's good. What's interesting is, will Dale Basham and will Jeff Green vote no? Will it be a 7-2 situation? I'm sure it will be. I'm almost 100% sure it'll pass 7-2. Now, as Kate said, it doesn't matter because Dan and his crew doesn't follow ordinances anyways. Hell, an ordinance, look, it's a law, but why, it's not the same thing as a state law. I mean, a state law is the state law. Federal law is the federal law. Dan and his crew don't pay attention to those, but it will be good to have it on the books. I think that wouldn't be a bad thing to put on. I'm not someone that likes just putting laws out there to put laws on top of new laws, but I think that would be a good thing for the council to stand up to and say, all right, no more of this. What do you think of the city attorney looking at contracts for form and not state law? You'll have to tell me. I guess I don't know exactly what you're talking about off the top of You'll have to tell me. Probably won't pass just because Audie suggested it. I think it will. I think it actually will. Indiana conflict of interest. Okay, right here. Indiana Code. Here we go. I'll pull this up so you guys can see it. We'll make it pretty and big for you. Public servant statutory conflict of interest, 3544.114. Conflict of interest. A public servant, Dustin Clark, who knowingly or intentionally has a pecuniary interest in or derives a profit from a contract or purchase connected with an action by the government entity served by the public servant, Dustin Clark, commits conflict of interest, a level 6 felony. Okay? Exception for compensation and expenses. A public servant is not prohibited from receiving compensation for services provided as a public servant for expenses incurred by the public servant as provided by law. Other exceptions, does not prohibit a public servant from having a pecuniary interest in or deriving a profit from a contract to purchase connected with the government entity served under in any of the following conditions. If the public servant is not a member or on the staff of the governing body empowered to contract or purchase on behalf of the governmental entity, The functions and duties of the public servant performs the government entity are unrelated to the contract or purchase, and the public servant makes a disclosure as provided, and we'll get ready to get to the disclosure here in a second. If the contract or purchase involves utility services from a utility whose rate structure is regulated by the state or the federal government. And here's the definition of a pecuniary interest. A public servant has a pecuniary interest in a contract or purchase if the contract or purchase will result in an intended or is intended to result in an ascertainable increase in income or net worth of the public servant or a dependent of the public servant who is under the direct or indirect administrative control of the public servant, or receives a contract or purchase order that is reviewed, approved, and directly or indirectly administered by the public servant. Okay. Definition of a dependent means a spouse of a public servant, a child, stepchild, adoptee of a public servant, an unemancipated and less than 18 years of age, an individual more than one half of whose support is provided during a year by the public servant. Disclosure requirements. A disclosure as required above must be in writing. Now listen, this is important. Disclosure requirements. A disclosure must, as required above, must means always, shall, must be in writing, describe the content, the contract or purchase to be made by the governmental entity, describe the pecuniary interest that the public servant has in the contract or purchase, be affirmed under penalty of perjury. Man, it's amazing how important those notary publics are, unless and until they're not. Strange election laws. Be submitted to the governmental entity and be accepted by the governmental entity in a public meeting of the governmental entity before final action of the contract or purchase. Be filed within 15 days. Be filed within 15 days after final action on the contract or purchase with the State Board of Accounts and the clerk of the circuit court in the county where the governmental entity takes final action on the contract or purchase. Contain, if the public servant is appointed, the written approval of the elected public servant, if any, that appointed the public servant. Defense. Now, this is important. It is not an offense in a prosecution under this section that a public servant's interest in a contract or purchase and all other contracts or purchases made by the governmental entity during the 12 months before the date of the contract or the purchase was $250 or less. And form. The suggested format for the disclosure of the conflict of interest for a board members and employees is located at the end of this section. The attorney for the governmental entity or a private attorney should be consulted in regard to whether a conflict of interest statement should be filed and whether the format of the disclosure is sufficient. Okay. And that's that.
So it's not an offense if it's $250 less. Well, he didn't get paid $250 more than that, right?
So yeah, basically, if for example, I don't even know what that would be. Everything's at least 250. But yeah, if he some reason somehow was paid $75 for the work that he did in this contract one time ever once, that would be it. But if he just managed to somehow sneak over that 250 line, which I would say he just barely did, right?
Oh, well, I recall at least one check that was $7,500.
Sure. Yeah, right. One check.
Yeah, one check was $7,500. So I think he's beaten that threshold.
I definitely think he's beaten that threshold. Yes,
Okay.
I think that is definitely a threshold with which he has.
And both of these are contracts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should be able to do a record request and get his conflict of interest form, because I'm sure that he did that.
There is not a conflict of interest form on file.
What? You jest.
Yeah, no.
My God.
Yeah, can you believe it? No conflict of interest form on file. So now my question is, let's come back here and take a look at this. When does he get charged with a Class 6 felony? Listen, I don't want anybody to get charged with crimes. It's not a good thing when people get charged with crimes. I don't want to ruin anybody's life. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to make anybody
cheating taxpayers.
Well, no, yeah, well, yeah, yeah, right. What I'm saying is, like, just normally in life, I don't want anybody to be all of that. That said, I want you to be charged with a crime if you murder somebody. I want you to be charged with a crime if you drink and drive and you wreck and you have paralyzed somebody for the rest of their life. If you've hurt a child, if you are a man and you've hurt a woman, if you're a rapist, I want you to be charged. If you're a bad guy, I want you to be charged. If you're doing wrong, I want you to be charged. I just don't want people, I'm not out here just trying to ruin people's lives. But at the end of the day, look, this is what I say. If they can't do the simple things, the small little piece of nothings that don't matter, that's just mindless work. If they can't be bothered to do those and they're willing to break the laws and skip over the rules and play a different game, then will they not be able to do the same thing when something matters? So the fact that Dustin Clark didn't fill out a conflict of interest, should he be charged with a level 6 felony? Absolutely, hell yes, he should be. Without any question of any doubt. Above all else. Yes. And anybody, I mean, they need to have a run to the paper company tomorrow, because everybody needs to. Ridenhour should be in trouble. Ridenhour knew about this. This ought to be they ought to charge Dustin Clark with level 6 conflict of interest, and they ought to charge Dan with conspiracy to commit conflict of interest, because a conspiracy, my friends, is any two people that knows about, plans, or is involved with a wrongdoing when at least one person takes steps in furtherance of that. So at least two people. If I, alone by myself, kill my neighbor, can I be charged with a conspiracy? Can anybody be charged with a conspiracy? No. But two people, Dan and the Green Goblin, they know the deal. They know what they're doing. They know that he's a contract. They know that he's a full-time employee. They know he's contracting. The State Board of Accounts actually said, hey, don't do this. They then took steps to cover their tracks and continued doing it. I don't know why or how they couldn't charge them with level 6 felony, conflict of interest, and conspiracy to commit conflict of interest. I think that that is straight on. I don't even know what. Straight on. What?
Well, and I think there's some level of fraud with this too.
Sure.
Because the person that they send in to sign the second contract is not
Sure.
Dustin Clark. So they're trying to hide his involvement in it, but he's
Sure.
the one cashing the checks.
Sure. As you're saying, and as GW's pointed out, you know, it's like, was Dustin Clark a part of this? What were they not a part of this? What's Morgan Walden's involvement of this? That's a very good question. I've got her phone number. I've tried calling. I've tried texting. I've messaged. I've sent emails. I've put up smoke screens. Yeah. She's in the bottom of the lake somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull this up. I can show you. It stares at me almost any time I get on to do my work. This picture stares at me, and it's such a fright. It's such a shock. It just about kills me. I've almost deleted it a couple times because I'm like, I can't even stand to look at that thing anymore. And that's being really mean, but I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. Here we go. There it is, Chief Muncie. There's her resume. All right, I got to get that off the screen. While we're there, while I've got that pulled up, 1 second, I can also, I guess, show you, we can take a look at this just so we know we're not making anything up here. There's the Green Goblin signing the back of a check.
And look at the amount. That's more than $250.
I do believe you're correct.
Now, I know you're not good at math, Kristopher, but I
Mhm.
think even you can count zeros.
Zeros?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could.
And there's more numbers in that than 250 has in it.
Yes, there's definitely more than 200. What is it? 250?
Yeah, 250. So that's 7,250 more.
That's yes, yeah, 7250 more than the amount.
Look at us mathing.
Yeah, right. I didn't even have to take my shoes off. She's writing grants for meth abuse. No, I think her drug of choice were opiates. Her drug of choice were opiates. And remember, she was also involved in some kind of conspiracy for a grown adult male, which this is gross and makes me almost violent. She was involved in some kind of conspiracy where at least one, if not a couple, grown adult men attempted to meet up with 14-year-old girls, children. So it's not like this is some kind of famous business school, you know, accountant here. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, why would Clark know her? What's the connection to those people? Because, like, look, let me see. Oh, I know how to do it. Let me do it like this. Give me a second here. And what was the other oh no. Oh, damn it. Let's see if this works. Chew, it did. I was afraid it wasn't going to work there for a minute. I hadn't done that. Okay. Dustin Clark. Okay. Did he finally delete? I'm looking. I know he deleted me, but I'm now looking from a fake profile. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing him on here. Huh. One more little search here. See if I can find him this way. Oh, yeah. No, I got him right here. Ha. Let's see if he's got his... Ooh, he's got his shit locked down tight. Yeah, you're not looking at anything here. This man... Yeah, here. See, this man is I mean, he's got everything locked down. Who does that? If you're not guilty.
I could see a little bit more than you, but not much. There's just updates of his cover photo.
Wait, what is that? All right, so okay, let me see what you've got here.
Yeah, I can make it a little bigger. Is that better?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, wait now. When all right, that was so yeah, this is the great night for bourbon tasting and making new friends. Yeah, I think that friend circle has basically left him.
I said I could see a bit more than you, but not much.
Can you go up to his pictures?
Sure. See all photos.
Yeah, Mitch Isaacs. Yeah, they're friends.
That's it.
He looks like he's hiding.
So that's it.
What's the thing? What's that say?
Swirlyworld.com.
I'm almost afraid to look at that.
I'll look it up. Watch it be some kind of horde porn site. It's mid-century retro cards. So it's just vintage postcards. So he's downloaded a vintage card to use as his screen. That's all it is.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
And I was worried it was like some kind of weird porn site of people sticking people's heads in toilets. And
yeah, right.
Whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good governance. Teaches good governance. So, yeah, I don't know, folks. Very weird. Everything is fine. The girl he lives with says so. That's probably the best line. So, never fear. I have reached out to the State Board of Accounts. I'm working on getting whatever they've got. I'm trying to reach out to contacts in the state police to find out what we've got going on there. And I've still got my sources working on the feeling at City Hall, hearing that the right-hand golden boy is coming back from a 3-month paid holiday. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Also, no, I wasn't going to say anything until it happens, but no, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and say. So today, I was I'll say this. Today, I had the fortunate happenstance. I happened to be able to be connected with Bob Segal of Channel 13 WTHR News, who is himself looking into what's going on in Muncie town. And so I am I was reading those comments there. That's weird. I am looking into where we're going to go down this rabbit hole. So there should be information coming from this for everyone, hopefully, and I will have more information. And when I'm able to release in more information about that, just keep in mind that prior to Steve Brown from Fox 59 going down his course of action that he took with Sproles, going down the various shows and stories he did, Steve Brown and I had a very similar talk. So just keep that in mind. I will let you guys know about that soon. And then the last thing I wanted to say was 2 things. Number one, Donald Rainwater is getting ready to start having some town hall style events, like virtual town hall style events. And he has asked me to be a moderator on them. And I said I would do that, of course. So maybe when we do that, I don't really know what's going on, what's going down, but I'm going to ask if when we do that, if we would be permitted to share the live feed, share that so you guys can see it if you so choose and whatnot. So I'll keep you guys posted with that. Also, the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission met this morning. I don't know what happened at that meeting. I know that Amber wasn't there this morning because she had a planned absence where they knew she was going to be gone. And she wanted to ask, or was in the process of asking if they could move it. And of course, they can only move the meetings or cancel the meetings or move the meetings when it's somehow going to hurt Rob or Amber to if they have it, and it helps, like it helped James King or it helped Brad Book out. So when it's beneficial for them to reschedule things, they'll do it. But you know, they do it for Bryce Conyers if he's not going to be there. But yet when you have another person absent, they're like, yeah, we can go on without you. You're not important. It doesn't matter. So that's rather interesting, how they choose to do what they choose to do with that, and what they don't choose to do. That's very interesting. As far as the meeting, it's already up. It was live streamed and the meeting is up. Well, let's just go ahead and watch it. It's only 9 minutes. We'll just go ahead and get that out of the air here, out of the way here real quick. We'll just go ahead and get that out of the way and we'll be done with it.
And justice. All right, Brad, you want to call roll?
Yes, sir. Michelle Batters.
Here.
Bryce Conyers.
Yeah, nothing is wrong, so shut up.
Moyer.
Here.
No, Green and Adams are absent.
Yes, Chief Muncie.
Move on to the approval of the June 20th, 2024 minutes. Motion.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Move on to the tabled business, Coops Lawn Care Development request.
I've had no follow-up conversations from him since prior to last week.
I'd like to make a motion to take this off the table and just let it drop.
I got a motion.
Second.
Who wants second? Angie second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Okay, so they took off
And
Gaston Schools off the table.
Downtown partnership request.
I think we should bring it off the table as well. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, I got a first and second. No questions? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Make a motion that we remove downtown development's request. There's a lot of uncertainty in what's going on, so if we take it off for the future.
All right, on to new business.
Okay, they just removed downtown development. That was the Angie Hibner request, and she's fired. And Vicky Beach is back in that place now. So they took that off the table. And I have a source that's telling me there is more to the story here, and they are trying to get in touch with me. We're trying to connect ourselves. So there will be more to the story with the Angie Hibner story.
Resolution 2024-09 Second Harvest Food Bank. Any
This is the presentation that came to you guys. I think she was here a couple of times, but the request was to pay for one round of programs, the Forward Steps programs. So this resolution takes it out of the various tips, and it is for the $20,000.
Okay. So that's for the food bank.
in Part 1 entrance water.
Resolution or amended resolution allowing for that extra $22,000. So I think you guys are good to go without any additional. Mayor, P.O. Box 502811, Indianapolis 46250. For $388,607.
They're doing an opening
Frederick
of bids.
C. I think it's 5448 West State Road 132 in Pendleton. $227,809.
I would recommend take them under advisement, let the attorney review them along with the engineer, and report back the next week for
So they're taking it under advisement. We'll come back next meeting and find out more about what that is. They're not making a decision today.
Got a first and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Up next, we have the industrial center development update and supplemental.
Industrial Center Development.
So Phil Work here from Osceola Group. Just want to give you guys a general update that we've been working through the plans, getting the road layout. We've been working with Brad on some traffic coordination issues, just trying to make sure we keep traffic flowing on Cowan as best as we can. As we were getting into it though, we noticed that there's some issues with the storm sewer system that is proposed out there. There's just some hydraulic issues where the
I will make a motion to approve the supplemental. Second.
First and second.
Hey, there's that.
I mean, it's stormwater, so I probably have 1,700 questions.
Stormwater issue.
Bridge 75 request for assistance. Angie?
Okay, here's request.
I'm requesting financial assistance.
Angie's requesting financial assistance for a county bridge.
For Bridge 75, it's located on Schaefer Road between 500 North and 28. or
Schaefer Road,
between Creekwood
okay.
Estates and Country Village,
That's
if you're
north.
familiar with that location.
Yep,
Second.
Got a first and second. Any other questions?
they're gonna help with the bridge.
All right.
Aye. Any
Abstain.
opposed?
Abstain.
One abstain.
And I meant to mention, construction should begin summer of 28.
What was that amount of damage?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Got a first.
Second.
Got a first and second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
I mean, they act like
Like there's no bot on or bot invoices. Any questions from?
they're whipped pups. Look up, speak, enunciate, talk to us.
First and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
All right, they didn't ask or allow for public comment, so there's that. Fantastic. Well, quickly, there was that. That was what it was, and I love now that the county meetings are taking after the city meetings. That's nice to know. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to start getting with the Delaware County Council meetings starting at the beginning of the year, when we don't have any counselors up there asking questions and making shit transparent for us. So keep that in mind. All right. That is going to, oh, wait, hold on. I see, Chief Muncie. We did a show about it the other day. That's a big thing. It happened Monday. They fired her Monday, and Beach is just back until they get a new full-time director. She's just back in as an interim director, but there's a lot of scuttlebutt going on. So it's gonna be something we're gonna talk about more in the future, but it's just in the infancy right now. But something crazy has happened here, so I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, we're going to wrap up and we're going to end tonight. That's going to do it for this episode. And I appreciate you guys being here. Please like the episode if you can. If you haven't, go down and do the thing. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Once you subscribe, you can hit the bell and get a notification. And you're going to want to do that because we're going to go live at some point this week. And probably Saturday night or tomorrow night. Do you have a preference?
No, and I think Catherine has some pretty big news out of Madison County.
Yeah, I know. I need to get a hold of her. Every time she's called me, I've been on the phone with somebody crazy.
Yeah, I know it's been a busy week, so. But she's gotten some interesting information over there.
Well,
apparently her phone's been doing what yours usually does.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. We'll have to see, because I was thinking about viewing the Biden press conference.
Okay.
And doing it, but I wouldn't want to do that because that's an hour and a half long, basically.
It was 60
And-
minutes.
So,
It's
okay, so
58.
an hour. Okay. And also have Catherine. Those need to be two different shows.
Yeah, they need to
So,
be two separate shows.
I'll have to plan C. So stay notified. I don't know when we'll be on, what the deal will be. We'll have to play it by ear tomorrow and keep you guys posted. But that's why you need to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you get notified, because we are generally here 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But sometimes we go live on the weekend for extra shows. And if you hit that bell, you can get notified and you will know when we go live. Besides hitting the bell and doing that, I also need to bring you up to speed and just make sure that you guys are aware. Today is obviously Thursday, July 11th, 2024. That means we are day number 192 without a correspondence from Counselor Dale Basham. I noticed today that he did make a posting, and his postings, normally when he makes postings, he turns off comments and doesn't allow for comments on his postings, but he took a picture and he changed his profile, and the profile picture allowed for comments. And I simply just commented and I said, hey, here's my email address. Will you please email me when you get a second? I would like to ask you a question, and I'm asking you, please, get a hold of me. I need you to get a hold of me. And so I've asked him. I still not heard anything since I did that this morning. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. Not heard anything. 192 days without a response, without him saying anything, without an email, a phone call, message, anything. So that's really sad. And we'll continue counting this up until he says something or he doesn't, and he's off the council. One of those two things. All right. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you for tuning in all this week. It has been a blast. We have had a long week, a lot of information, a lot of crazy things have been going on, and it's just going to continue getting that much more crazy, because we're getting ready to start getting real wound up in the election cycle. The local and the state election cycles getting ready to kick back off at the end of this month. The presidential stuff's all getting ready to kick off. And of course, we are getting ready to get fired up for the Republican National Convention and the Democratic National Convention. So those are going to be crazy, crazy events in and of themselves as well. So please continue to watch, share the show with everyone you know. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Have a great Friday, a great weekend, and we will see you guys again real soon. Always at 9 p.m., sometimes other times. That's why you need to get notified. Take care. God bless. Have a good evening. Goodbye. You know,